What's happening? So this is Lee again. This is going to be the third stream of the computer adventure game set in the Gulf Coast, or actually the German coast region, Louisiana. I'm Leoqua. I'm from Luling. Luling's right across the river from NORCO. I've been to NORCO a lot as a kid, and yeah, hope to get a little bit of context for some of the things that occur in the game. I'm not, a total expert on this, but I've done a little bit of research, took some notes. Still haven't played through this game all the way through, but we're going to be playing through it together. So, with that said, I'm going to continue the game that we got right now. Last time that we had left off, we had just finished the story with our mom, um, where Catherine had gone to the memory versioning clinic and spoke with the clerk over there, had some memories there, wandered around New Orleans, and took a job from Super Duck. So we're going to be returning from there. We had just reunited in the present day with our buddies on a motorcycle, I think. Maybe so. Well, let's take a look, and I'm going to click here, and there we are, Airline Highway. So we're looking for our brother, um, Blake, who had been. Give me 1 second. I gotta turn the turn the volume down on my headset. Doesn't look like that's actually possible. So let's see if I can do this. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're gonna go down to here. Um, so yeah, we're back to the present reality, um, and our brother Blake is supposedly at the tavern. So let's go check that out. And the Floodgate Tavern is right here. So, um, yeah, just the only thing that I can really say regionally about this is that the Floodgate is, I guess, a reference to floodwaters going through the spillway to control the flow of the Mississippi River and the lake, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure what the functionality is, but it's to um, stop from the region flooding. So now that they're open, let's go check it out. I love going into dive bars, and we're gonna look at it. So the Floodgate Tavern. Many shield workers gather here after their shifts. So let's go in. Um, that's Private Detective Brett LeBlanc sitting at the end of the bar. He's an unpredictable character, but we may benefit from speaking to him. Why you looking at me like that? I still got chili on my face. So let's take a look around here. I wanted to point this out, the Saints icon. Um, Bars in the New Orleans area. Like I had said in a previous stream, there's some people that are like huge LSU fans, and some people that are huge Saints fans. And I think Saints, the regional football team based out of New Orleans, kind of takes the cake. So you see the fleur de lis, the icon of the Saints, over here and over here. Beyond that, the fleur de lis has a lot of just kind of like regional appearances. So we've got the fleur de lis. I don't know exactly what it means symbolically, but it's associated with France and the French colonial ties that New Orleans has, and rather the entire kind of like um, Louisiana area. And you'll see the fleur de lis all over New Orleans, often in Mardi Gras. But the New Orleans Saints are the most common association that us true Houdads have with it. So another thing, it looks like it says Mary's High Dry. Yeah, that's a High Life sign. I can't really identify any of these bottles. Nothing really looks like a regional beer. Neither do these handles. But yeah, with that, let's take a look at the TV. Uh, LCD pulse of the evening news makes pale shadows across the bar. An image of a man with a long gray beard hangs over the news anchor's shoulder. Another pipeline explosion has left residents of Lower St. Charles Parish shaken. Shield officials have determined that the source of the explosion was due to a botched attempt by oil pirates to divert the flow of oil into a stolen barge. A man familiar to local law enforcement, only known as Lucky, was among the pirates, Shield officials say. He is believed to be hiding in the Batur woods along the east bank between Kenner and Laplace. Residents are asked to call Crime Stoppers with any information. So, just a couple of things. The region between Kenner and Laplace is basically all of St. Charles Parish and into St. James Parish. So Laplace is kind of like the next big city from, well, not quite a big city, but it is a little bit larger than like Norco and Destrehan and all the other kind of regions. So it's kind of like a stopping point. But the Mississippi River flows from, there's a riverfront area in Kenner, and then it goes to like St. Rose, and then I'm not sure what else, maybe like Destrehan, New Sarpy, and then Norco, and then there are a couple of other towns, like I think Reserve and Gramercy, all kind of like border, but eventually like winds up. So the span talked about right here is basically where this game takes place, as we'll find out. And another thing, I don't know if it's like a regional thing or if it's all across the country, but news reporters, anytime there was any kind of like, I don't know, like crime, they beg you to call Crime Stoppers. The tip line's always mentioned, so who knows? You can probably figure that out on your own. Um, so my friend Jay is saying that he talked to some Saints players today, but didn't know who he was and asked why he moved here. Jay lives on North Shore, and I think that's another hotspot for Saints. So anyway, gonna keep going here. I'm gonna talk to the wasted guy because that's a fun sight. Um, so a man lies face down in the bar, surrounded by emptied bottles. Why you touching my partner? This where you come to relax. So, just wanted to say, my friend Gil was asking for asking if the term parent was gender neutral by any chance, to kind of like use it like bro or dude or something like that. And I don't think it really is because it's more of a it's a gendered term, I guess, like patriarchy, parent, the opposite being maran, matriarchy. So I suggested a couple of like gender neutral kind of Cajun tinged terms, and the big one that I love is padna. And I had a story from when I was growing up. We were I, I remember rollerblading all through the French Quarter on Mardi Gras Day in like 1993 or something like that. And we passed by this woman dressed as a clown in Jackson Square in front of the St. Louis Cathedral. And she was talking to a little baby and trying to give the baby a balloon. And this is always stuck in my head. It's just like this strong Yat accent woman saying, "It's a balloony, partner." And so uh, that's a thing that our boy LeBlanc over here says. Padna is something that I would really love to see used as more of a kind of like gender neutral term to refer to your buddies. Another one that I had is just bra, which we'll see a lot in this game. And there's also T, which is like, we'll say like T Lee would be like little Lee, petite, excuse me, Lee. So I have heard people call people T before, just like for a little one, but of all of those, Padna is number one. Um, so let's talk to LeBlanc right here. He looks like shit, and I love it. Sit here long enough, you never know who might pass through. Hey Gus, look at this dynamic duo. Not sure I've seen these two around here before today. Sure, Gus. That filthy one right there, that's Kate Madair's oldest. Other one's a robot. You pulling my leg. That's Kate? Blues baby? Come on now. I work the turnabouts for Blue. Good man. Great man. There's some stories, him. How come his kids come out look like they did? Look how this one's dressed. Looked to me like she headed to the job site or the circus. Blue passed before his time is why them kids don't dress right. Blue knew how to dress. You're right about that one, Keith. Sad the way the kids turned out, but forget all that. You two are lucky to be stumbling in while I'm sitting here. You're in the company of a top-rated professional sleuth, and I happen to have a bit of information. Uh, I was gonna ask about Blake. That ain't got nothing to do with Blake. For once, this more, mysterious. You like mysteries? LeBlanc, please. Time is of the essence. Cool your heels. I'm getting to it. Now I see why Kate kicked you to the curb. That is not correct. Save your battery life. I'm just playing with you. Tell you what, why don't you get me a drink so we could talk? All right, so we're gonna talk to Gus. Evening, folks. Can I get something started? You know Blake Madair? Yeah, I know Blake. He hasn't come around in weeks. Not since he ripped me off. Wish I could say it was the first time. So Blake ripped you off? I let him catch some sleep right here behind the bar after last call, and what do you know, the boy walked off with the register. I knew he'd be getting himself all messed up on drugs. Was trying to give the kid a chance, give him some chores around the place. Done with him now. Done with him. So someone said Blake came by here last night. Nah, he'd be a fool to show up here after what he did. And I need a beer for your boy. Lord help me. Another sat by in that low life a drink. All right. So, boy LeBlanc, might need you to buy me a little snack too, seeing as my wallet's all the way out in the car. But this is enough to get us going. So, all right. Where'd I even start? Your mama ever tell you about me? Um, Maybe. She probably never mentioned me by name. But if you ever hear her mention a wild detective who doesn't play by the rules, just say nothing. Puts his life on the line for the good citizens of Norco. Well, that was me. She was talking about. I'm sure I came up. The problem is you got a piss poor memory. Us investigators, we gotta keep our memory sharp. So why you don't know me? I know a lot about you. I grew up in this town. You understand? My cousin Susie's ex-husband knew your daddy when he was still at the plant. And Catherine, she was a few grades above me at Sacred Heart. I knew her since I was a boy. So I'm gonna talk real quick about Sacred Heart. So this is like Sacred Heart of Jesus, the Catholic school that was in Norco. Apparently, looking it up, uh, it closed in 2019, but it was open for 60 years. Um, I remember going there for like my brother's baseball games and like actually, I think a couple of baseball games that I played myself as. Oh shit! I spilled beer on my keyboard. All right. It's okay, but yeah, so that kind of got on my notes, and going to give a shout out to Fly Llama Brewing of Biloxi, Mississippi, for providing me with a beer that I bought at the co-op a couple weeks ago. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. I think that trying to drink with my boy uh, LeBlanc right here um, made me have a little bit of a problem. But yeah, okay. So we're good now, kinda. So yeah, my notes now kind of smell like beer, and that's as it should be. Um, but yeah, so back about Sacred Heart, I just remember their mascot was a cardinal, um, which is relevant to Catholicism. It wasn't specifically a clerical cardinal, which is like little bit above priesthood within the hierarchy of Catholicism, but they were red, and they were the bird, and they were very muscular birds. Um, so yeah, not too much more to say. I'm not really familiar with it, but it is a school that had existed in Norco, and so that's a little bit of local flavor, baby. Um, so er- everyone around here knew Catherine. She was always getting herself into trouble, always drawing attention to herself. People say she was kin to Jesus. Old man live behind loops would say that. Talking about Papa? Yeah, Papa. Been years since I thought about him. Lot you could say about Papa. He whispered some bullshit and get everyone repeating it. Wasn't all bullshit. Saying a coon ass like me a child of Christ, you know that's bullshit. All right, so here's a big thing right here. The word coon ass. So it its etymology, if you take a look at the Wikipedia article for it, it's really hazy. Um, some of it, like one thing had been said that, oh, anyway, real quick. So it's a term of, I guess, kind of like identity, a mark of pride among some Cajun people to call yourself a coon ass and to refer to your other Cajuns as coon asses. But some people find it kind of distasteful. I'm kind of in between the things. I think of it more as like when somebody who's not Cajun uses it, it could be very much an ethnic slur. But if it's Cajun to Cajun, I think it's sweet. An example of like when not to use it is when you take a look at the first word in that sentence, or in that word between coon and ass. That word is a racial slur used against black people, and so it's still it seems kind of outdated, but it's kind of like a word you don't want to call somebody. So um, the story that my girlfriend had told me was that a woman who was kind of like from down the swamps, or a Cajun person, uh, had worked with her in the past with a lot of black educators from New Orleans. And she was talking about some event that they were planning, and she said, "Oh yeah, we can all play a bunch of coon ass games like Bure and Pedro and stuff like that." And the women that were working with them just kind of like stared at her because that's not really it doesn't sound like a kind thing to say, especially given the racist history associated with, you know. So I, again, I kind of feel like it is sweet to refer to other Cajuns with that, and I think that hearing my grandpa or like my dad say it, that's fine. But I don't like the word personally to use, and I think that context is a really, really important thing here. So, for anybody that's playing the game, it comes across this word. Yeah, it does kind of like troubled roots, but the use within here is like a Cajun guy referring to himself as that makes a little bit more sense. So yeah, you can take a look at the Wikipedia article for that term. Um, Again, I'm fine with Cajun people calling each other that or calling themselves that. If you're not a Cajun person, I would say don't use that word. It's yeah, it's not for you to use, and I think that it's up to you to use your own judgment. But I just wanted to bring attention to that. Um, so anything else that I could say, you can look it up on Wikipedia. So let's keep going. We all Christ's children. Not like that, Gus. You know what I mean? Like literally. Wait, what? This was years ago, long before Blue died. Papa told the priest that Flaming Cajuns come from Jesus. Said Catherine had, how you say it, like Jesus blood. Got it from a daddy's daddy, and so on, all the way back to the old world. Like in that movie, one with the volleyball. That ain't the right movie, Gus. It's the one with the priest and stuff. Hell, I don't know. I don't watch movies. Think it's some of that's likely to be true. You believe any old shit, Keith. No disrespect. Catherine never noticed. She was off on her own planet, wild as he was. Papa never wanted to be seen. He was watching Catherine, but she wasn't watching him. Blue wouldn't let no man like that near her anyhow. You got a point there, Keith. You'd be foolish to get in Catherine's way. Where she went, trouble followed. But I admired her, and she admired me. I said, who wouldn't? Anyone who knows him, or piss on you, or sees him. You always been jealous of my looks, or smells him. Now I know you full of it. I sprayed this whole suit down in cologne just this morning. Don't mind Gus. I always been the handsome one and he gets jealous. Made me forget what I wanted to tell you. Oh, that's right. Your house is out there near the fence line. Well, that's right behind my place of business. I got a window that looks out on the yard, more or less. But this is a pretty long story. And like I was saying, ain't got my wallet with me. And you want us to buy you another drink? That's a real generous offer, Robot. Thank you for that. Unbelievable. Alright, so get our boy another drink. Word of warning, he'll bleed you dry. So, just the cheap stuff. I ain't complaining or nothing, just making an observation. Tastes like dog piss. Just real important information I'm trying to share here. Valuable, you might say. And you buy me the cheapest beer in the house? A little rude, maybe, but that's okay. That ain't no problem. So listen here. This is what I want to tell you. My office window looks out on your mama's yard. I'm always keeping an eye on her, on the street. There's a little ways back, right after Catherine passed. I was out looking out there on the street like I do, and I seen these shield security types leaving the house. They was carrying a box. You saw shield security leaving Catherine's house with a box? That's what I'm saying, Robot. They was walking up the front door with the box, casual as can be. And where the hell were you? Are you some kind of security robot yourself? So what would Shield be looking for? Hell if I know. Laura St. Clair, the regional CEO they got over there, she always took a bit of an interest in your mama. I hear she's a loose cannon. Why would she be interested in my mom? Everybody was. He's right. Everybody wanted what was in her head. So what makes her a loose cannon? That's just what they say. You talking about Laura? Piece of work, that woman. Surprised she hasn't run the whole operation into the ground. Only reason the board keeps her on deck is because of her father. A lot of people want her gone. Who's her father? Thomas St. Clair founded Claire Bionics. They made robots, just like your friend here. Hell, Miriam might be a St. Clair unit herself. Anyhow, man's rich as can be. Thomas St. Clair is a servant of the devil. There Gus goes with his bullshit. Not bullshit, it's truth. Alright, Gus. So enough about Laura St. Clair. And why didn't LeBlanc stop the SHIELD agents? Well, because I was busy. With what? You know, just busy. Who cares with what? When you ever busy with anything? All the time. I can hardly get a minute to relax. Then what were you doing? I told you I was looking out the window and I saw them SHIELD people. So answer the question, Brett. You see these people breaking into a home. You always come around here bragging about stopping the bad guys. If I wasn't so busy, I might have killed them. Sometimes I wonder if have these stories you tell. Ask around town. Everybody knows I'm a killer. Are just fantasies you make up to convince yourself. I was taking a shit. The detective smooths his tie as a moment of silence settles over the room. The window is next to the toilet. I'm always watching the street because I got irritable bowel syndrome. I hadn't even started wiping when I see them shield dudes. All right, bro? Will you run down Apple Street with poo all over your ass? The man closes his eyes and shakes his head slowly. I take that as a no. You wouldn't. Nobody would. You gotta have a clean ass to fight crime. Everybody knows that. Had it been done wiping, I guarantee you they'd be dead right now. I'm serious. All right, so um, I'm glad one thing we can take away is that you need to have a clean ass to fight crime. But before you go, I got one more thing. I'm hungry. Would be a real nice gesture of appreciation if you brought your informant something to eat and circle back afterwards. I might have a little more information to share. Let's talk to Keith right now. Don't see how anyone can believe the crap the media has been putting out these days. It's all lies meant to divide working people. See for yourself. He gestures to the TV. Why are you making your website, Keith? To set the record straight? You know that's right. All right, so Keith, cool ass dude, I think. But we're gonna get some fries for our boy. What now? Our boy got hungry? Yes, actually. Sucker born every day. Go for business, I guess. So he got his fries. Should have mentioned I don't care much. I don't much care for the fries here, but that's okay. I ain't complaining. Just would have liked me a sandwich is all. But forget all that. What's important right now is that you understand what I told you. I saw shield thugs leaving your mama's house with a box. What the box contained, no idea. But they was in there looking for something. No telling what. They got them headquarters deep inside the refinery. And that old plantation house, where the real action happens. If I had to guess where they was heading, that'd be it. So, yeah, I wanted to point out that like the actual Shell refinery in Norco is built on a former plantation. And once slavery was abolished, the plantation still stood, although it wasn't profitable, and the plantation house still exists while it was built, and in Norco the video game, that's where the headquarters for Shield is. So, say Keith, you getting all this? Every word. He's making himself a little news website. What's the name gonna be, Keith? I got a few ideas in mind. You just like Duck, bro. Duck used to be a news junkie too, digging up dirt on all the big wigs. That was before the cancer knocked him on his ass. Some people just want to know the truth. You been by to see Duck, K? The man could use visitors. Not yet. You better go see him. That old boy knows shit no one else does. Where is he? What you mean? He must have took you to see Duck 1,000 times. Just think about it for 2 seconds. Perhaps LeBlanc is right to suggest that we visit him at some point. Perhaps. Oh yes, quite. Why you talk like that? Did they make you an angel or something? You sound like a queen. Thank you. Weird ass thing. Anyhow, think I'll be seeing you two again. Good luck. Excuse me. So let's ask him more questions. Hurry it up then. So looking for my brother. Why don't you ask Gus about that? I don't keep up with Blake no more. Too much trouble. We need help getting into the refinery. Getting in that refinery ain't easy. I know that much from experience. You should find one of them people like they've been talking about on the news to help you out. Oil pirates. Barricade and Highway 1. Diverting pipelines and all this. Them the only kind I ever seen get through security. So, yeah, wanted to briefly talk about the mention of Highway 1. Um, so it's the longest road in the state, and it goes from Shreveport, which is the upper west, the northwest of Louisiana, all the way to Grand Isle, which is the southeast, right feeding into the Gulf. So Grand Isle is where all the oil ships dock, and it's a terminal to all the oil rigs in the Gulf. And so the this is just kind of like the path that goes all the way through Louisiana to get to the north of the state. So look it up. I like that it's Highway 1. Um, they were saying on TV one of them pirates been hiding in Batur Woods. It's all over the TV. And he points to the television. Another pipeline explosion has left residents of Lower St. Charles Parish shaken. A man familiar to local law enforcement known as Lucky was among the pirates, should officials say. He's believed to be in hiding in the Batur Woods along the east bank between Kenner and Laplace. You're repeating shit again. So, let's see LeBlanc has to say. Anything about Papa? No. What you want to know? Why did he become fixated on my mom? A small town like this, your mama attracted attention. He was watching too many movies, cooked up some strange ideas, got his wires crossed. That's my guess. Sounds about right to me. So where is he now? Living in a ditch somewhere. That ain't nice, Gus. He left here a long time ago. He used to do odd jobs, roofing, fabrication, that kind of thing. No telling where he went. Probably looking for work. How well do you know him? I see him walking by every now and then. We'd exchange a few words. They say he threw a brick through the church window once upon a time. That had people buzzing. A lot of us knew who he was, but no one knew much about him. One of those kind of people. So that's enough about Papa, and I know where to find Duck. I gotta think about it. So this is a thing that I have not interacted with in this playthrough just yet. And I I'll just give a quick example of it. I think that it's really cool and very worth digging into on your own to build out kind of the narrative universe. So within the context of the game is called the mind map. As you might have seen, just kind of like little things saying like, okay, duck was added to your mind map, or the duck entry in your mind map has been updated. So we're gonna take a look at duck over here, and so that we can kind of like recollect where he lives, we're gonna think about him using the mind map. And the interface is really cool, I think. So, an old friend of your mom's. Your memory of him is scattered and vague. LeBlanc suggested you visit him, but where does he live? You try to recollect his face. Brief, generous smiles, but otherwise placid, expressionless. And I was always happy to see him. His health? It took a turn before you left. A bit of lethargy, irregular breathing, sores on his legs. Your mom brought him food on days when he was unable to stand. His son, dead at 14. An explosion in the yard. Natural gas leaking from a pipe. Something caused a spark. So I'm going to come back to that in a sec. The pipeline across the property to Shields Chemical Annex. There's only one neighborhood along the fence line. What's left of it, anyhow. Small fragments of his home pass through the black ink of your mind. The perennial accumulation of dust. The damp curtains and piles of cans on the kitchen tables and those refinery shadows of the little slab bungalow. Duck lives in dimes. So when I was doing a little bit of research, actually when I played through this a little bit ago, I was not really familiar with the phrase dimes, but looking into it, something kind of like jogged my memory that we're gonna see a difference later on, but this was the name of the neighborhood that had flanked on one side of the Shell refinery in Norco. It was referred to as the Diamond, and it was a prominently black neighborhood that, of course, was really affected by this. The story that's relevant to this is that one of the first signs that things are kind of fucked up with Shell is that there was a kid who was like 14 years old mowing his neighbor's lawn one day in the Diamond neighborhood, and he took a break to go talk to his neighbor, and he went to restart the lawnmower, and the spark from the lawnmower set a natural gas line on fire from the neighbor's front yard and burned him very solidly. He had passed away soon after. and it also affected his elderly neighbor, whose home was incinerated from the inside from that spark. So the memory of Doc mentions his son who had suffered from a similar fate, and this is a thing that, again, is also based on reality. So the thing that is worth bringing up, I'm gonna pull up this Wikipedia article real quick. I don't think that it's actually gonna. Okay, let's see. So, look up the Wikipedia article "Shell Plant Explosion in Diamond, Louisiana." This specific incident is the explosion of 1973. The young man's name was Leroy Jones, and he was 16 years old, and the elderly woman was Helen Washington. Um, so, according to the Wikipedia article, uh, the it's unknown exactly how much the victims' families were compensated for the deaths. Several citizens claim that relative Helen Washington received $3,000 for her destroyed house and the land surrounding it. Citizens claim that the mother of Leroy Jones was paid $500 for the death of her son. There is no record of the fatalities, and there is no mention of the accident in the Shell Norco Museum. So that's the first of like one of the tragedies that was pretty heavily covered, and it seems like a big starting point for the narrative of Norco, the video game. So anyway, we're gonna go through. We're gonna go visit Duck in his home in Dimes. We're gonna see what Million has to say first. If you're to attempt getting into the refinery to reclaim your mother's possessions, you'll need help. LeBlanc may know where to find it. So, we need to find a way into the refinery. Yes, Shield has stolen some of your mother's possessions. We can attempt to infiltrate the refinery ourselves, but I don't think we'd be successful. Let's ask around for help. And LeBlanc suggests we visit Duck. It's good advice. We should visit him in Dimes. He may have some idea how to access a refinery. There's a fugitive hiding along the Batur. Yes, we saw him mentioned in the news. Allegedly an oil pirate. What about him? Maybe he can help us get into Shield? That's reasonable to assume. Where's the Batur? The Batur woods are along the Mississippi River, near Dimes Discount. Are oil pirates common? Increasingly so. The pipeline network in this region is largely unmonitored. Claire Bionics and others are developing new technologies to address this. So, um, we gotta go outside, and we're gonna. This has taken another unusual turn. Erica told us that Blake was heading here yesterday evening, but the bartender says that Blake hasn't come by in weeks. Something may have happened on his way here. LeBlanc says that Shield had stolen a box of your mother's possessions. We have nothing else to go on. We must retrieve the stolen items and hope that they point us towards your brother. Accessing Shield's headquarters won't be easy. Without assistance, perhaps impossible. I suggest we recruit help before attempting it ourselves. So, yeah, we're gonna go talk to Duck right now, um, who's in his home in the Dimes. So, yeah, quickly talking about this. The boarded up windows um, could be for a derelict house, but many times you'll see homes prepared for hurricanes around here. Um, People will hammer plywood or particle board or shutters over the windows during hurricanes to protect windows and maintain the structural integrity of the home to some degree. Just kind of like bolsters things. So, yeah, again, I don't know if this is a common thing outside of the area, but this is obviously not an abandoned home, but it's something that's just kind of shuttered right now. So we're gonna take a look in the door. The house is partially boarded up. You assume it's an artifact of hurricane preparation that has since become a permanent fixture. So yeah, that kind of answers the question. Um, there's nothing else really to interact with. We can take a look at the chemical annex, and Shield's chemical annex sits a small distance from the house. So we're gonna just straight up and go into the dude's house. Um, it's not really much that you can interact with, but here's the lamp, and here's our mom's friend Duck. Um, Not the first ones to come through here, toppling all over all my shit in the dark. Since the buyout, people think this neighborhood's all the way empty. Come around looking for copper. But you wouldn't do that kind of thing, Kay. Not like your brother. And how's it been, Duck? Has it been about how it looks? I made such a mess with that head drive, just trying to keep myself out of trouble till it's my turn to go. So, and you mentioned a buyout? You must have noticed coming in. The houses are all gone. People here been fighting with Shield all their lives. They got a little momentum on their side after the last explosion. The papers was making Shield look bad. But hell, we were here first. Shield moved in, we suffered. Gas leaks, noise, explosions. Can't grow my vegetables out in the yard, just won't grow. I never cared to move, but I knocked doors for it anyway. If Shield had never dropped in on us, my little plot of land would be worth something. Money they were offering to buy us out was alright, be worth a lot more had they never come. The number they put in front of me, I said piss on it. I could have sued after Reese died. I just didn't have the energy for it. Now I'm the last one left in dimes, so sorry about Reese. It's history. Most days I can't remember his face, if I'm honest. When you fill out the survey at the head drive clinic, they ask you to write down memories, control points they call them. All them years ago I couldn't stand to write out his name. It was too painful. I skipped this memory. I regretted it at first, but I'm thankful for it now. It'd be a lot worse if that monster carried a piece of my boy inside it. And head drive? Unleash it, the monster. Super duck. Causes that just to get to me, just to piss me off. It's my fault. That company that made it for me. I should have known from the get-go. They only do their business at night. Found out later they even got a license. Your mother went to the same clinic with us. I tried to warn her. The junk that was in my brain is spreading around like a virus. It's even in the trees. I told your mother, don't get messed up in the near that. She's telling me it's talking to her through the radio. I said, turn off the radio. She never listens. Stop responding to me. Figure that monster's got money to burn. Catherine didn't want to leave her dad for you to deal with, so she kept up with my mom up until right near the end. K. She lived like she wasn't sick. She never quit, but I could see it wearing on her. Took a toll on her body. It started in her liver. They burned it out. Thought maybe that was the end of it. Before you know it, they found a little in her lungs. She was still going all over town, walking up and down airline like some kind of bag lady. Figured she thought it'd go away if she ignored it, but that didn't work out for her. Once it came for me, it never did quit. I've been getting sores, cramps every day. Can't keep nothing down. Tried to tell her that. Said, Catherine, that's not the kind of thing you can work off. You think she listened? By the time it got to her brain, that was all there was to it. No more working, no more doing nothing. But she'd already gotten fed up with me by that point. Never really made amends before they put her in that mausoleum with your daddy. Hurts my heart thinking about it. But what can you do? No hiding from God's will. So, um, so we're trying to get into the refinery. Not a good idea, Kay. What for? They stole my mom's stuff. Well, that's interesting. The regional executive, she took a particular interest in your mother. Why? She wanted to know the things Catherine knew, I suppose. Your mother was out at the lake. She heard Shield or somebody was building some kind of rig out there. She wanted to find out for herself. She didn't find what she was looking for, but she found something. Sounded to me like her medication was messing up her head, but she insisted it was real. Some kind of UFO. Said it followed her for nearly a mile. But anyhow, that CEO they got at Shield, she about as far out of her mind as your mother was. She must have caught wind of all this. Catherine got to be careful in her old age. Paranoid even. The important things she kept hidden. Whatever Shield stole, it wasn't nothing important. But you want to get it back? Can you help us get in? I'm gonna regret telling this, but I've been sitting on it so long, been dying to tell somebody. I don't know how she'll manage to do it, but they fucked up. They bought out this neighborhood, and ever since they did, they put me behind that firewall. Got a computer terminal back there. Every time I boot it up, I get a view of the inside. Not like I know what the hell to do with it. clicked around a bit, but just got myself lost. Can't hardly read the screen. Computer's back there in my little library. Have a look. And whenever you do, Kay, I'm asking you to be careful. So, more questions about mom. The monster, my mom was working for it. He ain't even thinking about that thing. It knows I'm here dying while it grows and grows. Big, disgusting, toxic birds sprouting from the ground all over the region with teeth and hands and all kinds of shit. Unbelievable. Turns my stomach. But you know what? I won't be the first to die. Hell no. It roped your mother into some lunacy. She wouldn't tell me the details. I couldn't get a single word out of her after our point. Did you attend the funeral? I planned to. Arranged for my godchild to pick me up and everything. But the day of the service, I couldn't hardly walk. I heard from a couple of people it was a beautiful one. For all the bridges she burnt, there was plenty of people who had nice things to say. Even a few of her colleagues from the university showed up, the ones who got her sacked. I know that a chapped her ass. They bagged her with that fake little ring she always wore around her neck. She said it reminded her who she was. Figured she probably wanted to give it to you, but you were gone. And Blake, well, he'd have pawned it to anyone fool enough to buy it. So, um, the ring she wore around her neck was fake. You don't know that story? Kind of funny if it weren't so sad. Your granddaddy wanted to prove he was from royal stock, so he broke into a pawn shop up there on Airline and stole the biggest ruby he could find. Went around telling everyone it was from the old world. Said it traveled from France to Nova Scotia and down the Mississippi River. Well, that was a bunch of bullshit. He ended up in Angola for it, though they never did find the ring. So, real quick about Angola, that's a big, big prison in the state. Um, the thing that I really know most about it is and I don't know if they're still doing it, but for the longest time was an annual rodeo featuring the prisoners. And it's like it was a time for everybody to come visit the prison, and the prison could make money off of it. I read or pretended to read when I was in college a book called The God of the Rodeo, that was basically an expose of that, and how the prison was like pretty messed up and just in really sorry state, and just how prisons are, but it did the rodeo kind of like gave prisoners something to strive for. Pretty fucked up. Um, I don't. I'll have to like read a little bit more on it because it's been a very long time since I thought about it. But yeah, for what it's worth, Angola is the really big prison within the state. Um, and looks like our grandpa went there. Catherine took it to an appraiser one time. It's cubic zirconia, fake. The man spent months in jail for a fake piece of jewelry. After that, everyone started calling him King Pierre. They laughed him out of crevasse. And my mom was fired from the university. Sure, you were young. Couldn't have been too long after Blue passed. She lied up and down to get that job, and it weren't nothing special neither. Just a community college in the city. So probably Delgado University right here. That's very close to my house. But that's Catherine. Never wanted to play it straight. Suppose Blake took after her in that respect. All right, so enough about my mom, and we're gonna go to the little library. So this is the area that's like I think really affecting to me. Um, so I'm gonna come take a look at the storage containers down here. Yeah, shout out to iFlan. So in my real life, I just ordered a license plate that says garlic to put on my 2015 Honda Fit. Has nothing to do with Norco, just a little bit of levity for right now. Um, but yeah, it's always fun looking at vanity plates in the state. There's a web application that you can use on the DMV's website to see which vanity plates are available in Louisiana, and somehow garlic was free. So I'm gonna have garlic as a license plate within the next couple weeks, and pretty freaking badass, if you ask me. Um, so take a quick sip. Yeah. some storage containers filled with paperwork and newspaper clippings. And we're going to take a look at them. You sift through some of the clippings that fill the containers. Most relate to the catalytic cracking unit explosion of YX-10. Descriptions of the aftermath, the destruction, the displacement, the workers who died. Your father is listed among the names. So this is probably one of the biggest things that Norco has been known for. And as I had mentioned earlier, there's a pretty large article on Wikipedia detailing the shell plant explosion in Diamond, Louisiana. And while I was eating dinner tonight, I looked up some more details of it. And if you get a chance, actually, Yahtzee.com, our boy Yatsu wrote this game, wrote an article that was published elsewhere but is syndicated on his own website called "The Norco, Louisiana Shell Explosion of 1988." Um, I'd like for you to, you know, do a little bit of research into that if you can. But this is, I think, the core of what inspired this game, or like what happened. So, as we had seen in the narrative of this, what was called a catalytic cracking unit exploded on May 5th, 1988. And this was due to corrosion of a vapor line. I'm kind of paraphrasing the Wikipedia article, so I gotta apologize if it um, sounds whack. But this resulted in just like an unfathomably large explosion that resulted in the death of 8 employees of, or 7 or 8 employees at the Norco Shell refinery. This explosion um, could be heard from Norco all the way to New Orleans. There are reports that the explosion set off burglar alarms within New Orleans itself. Um, and in reading this, Yitz's story about it was when he was 2 years old. This happened, and he lived 5 blocks away from the actual Shell Norco plant, and all throughout the town, windows were shattered, and um, his house was no exception. So his parents, of course, freaked out and saw him just passed out. He was sound asleep and thankfully uninjured, but the glass had shattered all throughout his bedroom. So I'm not going to tell the rest of his story, but that this has had an incredible effect on the lives of people who have lived in Norco for generations kind of goes without saying. Um, so so far, this is like the only instance of the game or instance of this event that shows up is like in this room. So there are newspaper clippings, and we're gonna look at the rest of this room, but yeah, it's from my perspective, it's like, well, what if uh, the video game is essentially like, what if the children of a person who had passed away in this Shell Norco explosion in 1988 went on to like investigate deeper into the fucked up things that was doing. So, um, yeah, again, I implore you to look a little bit more into this, particularly read the Norco, Louisiana Shell Explosion of 1988 article. Um, that is a lot of his perspective, and the Wikipedia article about the shell plant explosion in Diamond, Louisiana is worth reading to give some context for, I guess, like the genesis of this. So, um, I'm going to keep reading through here. So the printer uh, contains the letterhead of a law office in Metairie sitting in the tray of the printer. Mr. Richard, after carefully studying the circumstances of the buyout, we recommend that you proceed with relocation. Shield is not legally obligated to provide you with an easement. You may find yourself trespassing on private property when leaving or returning to your home. So, yeah, uh, that's another thing that was provided. Like we heard Duck talk about this, but after the 1988 Shell Norco explosion, residents of the area, the Diamond community specifically, were offered a buyout or they could work with Shell to build out better community services. It's maybe propaganda from Shell itself. I don't know exactly how it happened, but the further story of what happens you can read on Wikipedia, um, or through probably more reputable sources. But that's at least a good primer for it. So here we see Duck getting an offer for his house, and he's not having any of it. So we're going to look at the ephemera and a collection of bills, letters, and photographs that are pinned to the board. The photographs are of various industrial and infrastructural landscapes that you recognize from around the region. The Geismar aluminum refinery, the grain elevators downriver, the airport control tower. Okay, so here's a trophy. The trophy sitting atop the bookshelf reads Junior Champion, Reese Richard, St. Charles Parish, YX2B. Um, we can't do anything in this box, but look at it, the strange ornamental box, um, which is locked. So we're going to take a look at the deer head, and yeah, it's mounted to the wall. We're going to take a look at some books. Uh, Actually, I didn't come across this when I was playing earlier, but the U.S. Army Corps Anomalous Light Report. A report on the levitating spheres of light witnessed by multiple onlookers above Camp Memory and the Bonnecar spillway throughout the spring and summer of YX-1S, commissioned by the United States Army Corps of Engineers. After careful survey of the soil content area near Camp Memory, our inquiry has determined anaerobic conditions conducive to the formation of confined pockets of gas that, given exposure to sufficient heat, may ignite. These spontaneous incidents of combustion were likely mistaken for floating luminous spheres. And the pigman. Some claim that the pigman is a type of grunch who Some claim that the pigman is a type of grunch who hides beneath the interstate bridges that cross Lake Pontchartrain. Legend has it that if you bring the pigman a gift, he will return a gift to you in kind. I've never heard of the pigman. And again, this is my first time reading this. I like the word grunch. Um, it's, my, my friend Chappie is always saying that the pigman will help you, and I gotta give it up for the pigman. Um, so we're gonna hack right now. Take a look at the computer console with a large trackpad and magnified display. Um, I pass my finger over the trackpad, waking the machine. Shield security terminal is displayed on the console. We're gonna use the terminal. I love the grunch. Ben, Benny Grunch. Yeah, that's my friend Jay said, and I don't know why I second guessed this. So there's like, I don't know if this is really it, but there's a local musician from New Orleans called Benny Grunch who wrote quite a few celebrated local hits. There's one that he's well known for around Christmas time, the 12 Yats of Christmas, where it's a bunch of Yat, where you at, bra kind of mettery people singing about local things like fried onion rings, uh, for, I don't know, for you drive me nuts, three French breads, Two Jack's recipe, Two Jack's being a restaurant that no longer exists, and a crawfish they caught in Araby. Um, that's what he's most known for. He also had a song called "Ain't No Place to Pee on Mardi Gras Day" about just like there's nowhere to pee on Mardi Gras Day. And the one that might be kind of relevant here and I saw him perform this at Carrollton Station, this old haunt that we used to go to after work years ago, um, called Little Town of Destrehan, and a little town of Destrehan, like a little town of Bethlehem. Super corny. Dude's weird as hell. He's a bassist who sings, and his friends he calls it the bunch. So any kind of like end rhyme thing, like Benny Grunch and the Bunch, I'm down with. Um, thanks for letting me go on a Benny Grunch tangent. But I think that it's worth bringing up. Um, so I'm gonna continue with this. I'm gonna let you know I like it took me a long ass time to get past this mini game, but I think that I might be able to do it better this time. This is a map of Shield's Sentinel drone security fleet. The entrance to the refinery is in Zone A. If we want to gain access to the refinery, then it may be necessary to clear the Sentinels from this zone. There are currently three drones patrolling Zone A. Perhaps there is a way of relocating them to other zones. So the thing is, like, there are supposed to be a maximum of three drones in every region, and you have to move them. I don't know. I don't fucking get it. But we're gonna try to do this. So we have to move these drones, make sure that there's empty space between the different things. So I'm gonna get really quiet while I'm trying to figure this out because I'm kind of a dumbass most of the time and get really fixated on things. I can't really explain what's going on, but I hope that. Okay, so okay, where are we at? Deselect. Okay, um, so we have one over here. All right. Okay, so yeah, I gotta apologize. I can't explain what I'm doing right here. Um, but we're gonna see. All right. So I think that this is gonna work. Whatever I'm doing might be right. Ah! Okay. Okay. All right. Well, I guess I have to do this again because, uh, yeah, this is really confusing to me. All right. So we're gonna try this. Try this. Uh, yeah, don't look at this right now. This is this is just like a really sad man trying to solve a problem, and it's not fun for anybody, especially with the zooming and zooming. All right, so we're gonna move drones here. Um, I guess yeah. Uh, okay, we're gonna try this. Okay, okay, let's see if this will work. All right, all right, Matt, that sounds cool. So this is an open invitation to anyone, not just people that I've known through the internet and live journal for a million years. But yeah, come to New Orleans. I'll treat you to if you drink a drink. If you don't drink, treat you to food. I'll treat you to food regardless. And there's a lot of cool stuff to check out. Um, Hit me up. So, okay, I didn't read any of that. I didn't take in any of that, but we're gonna see if I can make this work. If not, I'm really sorry. All right. So, okay. So, we're moving drones around. Um, this one needs to go here, I think. Uh, okay. Wait. Okay. One more try. Okay. So I think I need to send it up here. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the drones have been cleared from the entrance area of the refinery, which will be helpful. Um, so, whew, okay. It took me a lot longer before. I'm pretty good at reading and reading comprehension, but putting practical skills into effect, not so much. So we're going to talk to Duck one more time. We don't have anything new to say to him, but we're going to go back outside. Um, so I'm not going to like I'm not gonna let everybody see me fuck up. You literally can't win this fight without this guy, so we're gonna go pick up. Um, actually, I want to do something first. Let's go. So we're gonna go to the dimes. We're gonna think about the. Um, we're gonna think about our mom, who died, and the cancer metastasized. It was in her liver, then her lungs, then it was in her brain. She was on chemo, never finished her third course. At the hospice on Jefferson Highway, Blake said the traffic shook the building. He left before she drew her last breath, alone with a morphine drip in the Radin glass. That's how Catherine died. Your mom, uh, okay, so I'm gonna think about the ring. My grandpa broke into a pawn shop and stole a jeweled ring to uphold the lie that he was descended from French royalty. Your mom later discovered that the ruby was made from synthetic material. She still wore the ring around her neck until she died. She was buried with it. Um, okay, I'm not doing too good. Well, I think we're just gonna skip the thing that I was gonna talk about. But I wanted to show the mausoleums to people. Um, I think we might be able to trigger it by thinking about our mom. Uh, for a client in Fat City, my mom was conducting research in a lake. While there, she saw something, but what? Your mom, finished thought, head drive, Catherine, you, Million, reports of construction, Shield, Lucky, Thomas St. Clair, Laura St. Clair, Troy, LeBlanc, Client, Dimes, Ditchman, something in the lake, reports of construction, King Pierre. Right. An old man in Norco named Papa had delusions about your mom. He believed her to be a descendant of Jesus Christ by way of her Cajun ancestry. He once threw a brick through a church window. Okay, well, yeah, we'll just keep going. There's something I can do to get to the mausoleum, but I did want to talk about how um, most of my family actually is buried in mausoleums, and these are like large buildings that are essentially like slots for caskets. I don't know how common they are elsewhere in the world, but due to the water table, I think is what it's called within Louisiana, we very much have to build above ground. So the wealthy can afford like their own personal tombs, but for the rest of us, um, where possible, a mausoleum is where we're at. So all of my Oquan Lede family that I could think of, including my grandpa that's buried in the Taft refinery graveyard, or the Taft plant graveyard, um, that they're in mausoleums. So, okay, all that said, we're gonna go find our boy Lucky out by the Batur, um, and he's posted up right here. Uh, he looks badass, so we're gonna talk to him. Either you see a dog, low black pit, green eyes. You see her, you send her this way. She answers the pots. You the one they're looking for? Well, so what? Lucky make the news. They want trouble? Here I am. You see that dog? You send her this way. So we're gonna go to probably my favorite scene in the game, and it's out here at Sarpy Books. Teens talking to the dog. This dog looks kind of hungry. What do dogs eat? Dog food, bruh. Dogs eat dog food. So we're gonna try to pet the dog and show their teeth and growl softly. So place that I know that we can get food is at Dime's discount. So we go inside, uh, get the dog food, and so the cop doesn't say anything to us. We scan it over here and get thanked for our purpose. Um, Go back to Sarpy Books and pour a heap of food onto the ground before the dog. She laps up the kibble and follows behind you as you step away. And this is my favorite scene. Where that dog went. Kind of liked having that thing around. And then, brah, it's a dog. Love that dog, brah. Just like, yeah, these teens that are just like hanging out. They find this dog friend, and the dog is just like hanging out with them for God knows how long. And they're wondering where he is. The dog is with you, and you click on the dog, and it makes a big whoa, whoa, and they say, "Love that dog." Baseball cap says, "Good pooch." So there's a Twitter account that's like, "Can you pet the dog?" I don't know if you can pet this dog in Norco yet, but I think that the interaction that you can have with the dog and these teens is probably the coolest shit possible. So just keep clicking on the dog and get the kids to say "good pooch," and now we can go to the overworld and fuck shit up. Uh, After talking to our boy Lucky down at the Batsur. Um, yeah, I don't know if checks to cash is a real place, but there's all kinds of like payday loan places all throughout the New Orleans area. There's check into cash, I know, but checks to cash um, isn't too far from the truth. So, Pots, you brought back my pot liquor. She was having me worry. Pots now, she tough as they come, but luckily thought they had her. He reaches down and pets the dog behind her ears as she pants eagerly. He regards Million. Say, robot, you look familiar. You a Claire Bionics unit? No. Alright then, just thought you might feel lucky in on a little gossip. Say, what gossip? Laura St. Clair. She one unusual character. Turning that refinery inside out on some wild goose chase. For what? What I was hoping a robot might tell me. But anyhow, they call me Lucky. I stick around here. You need help, you find me. Help is just what we need. That right? We must infiltrate Shield to retrieve some stolen property. We could use a hand. I done got past them fences more than I can count. That's a good time. Even got me a couple grenades in my bag. Lucky'll come. You can count on Lucky. Alright, so we got our boy Lucky. Um, and we're gonna go back to the house. Um, so yeah, head back. Uh, where's our house? Apple Street. Um, the little girls with the penguins, or no, not the penguins, the turtle. They're gone, and the snowball stand is closed for the winter. Sucks. All right, so we're gonna go to our house. Um, go to the backyard. See our boy Lucky hanging out. Um, talk to Million. I'll be finished shortly. Lucky waits beside the truck. So, so this Miss Madair's house then. Lucky knew your mama a bit. How? She was around, seen her a time or two. She weren't no friend to the companies neither. They'd have liked to have her dead. And they got their witch. The old man nods. They did. These companies want to get off that oil. Too much trouble. What do you mean? They put them wind turbines out in the Gulf, and now they building a brain. Got it. They're going to use it to find fuel out in space. Best of luck to them. Ain't nothing wrong with trying to make a buck. Couldn't agree more. People think Lucky hates Shield. Lucky don't hate Shield. He just like causing trouble. Without Shield, ain't nobody have a job in this place. But here comes that robot. We best get moving. You want to talk more? Just tap me on the shoulder. Okay, so talk to Million. Just finish repairing the truck, and yeah, let's try to access Shield. Oh no! Goodbye, goodbye, monkey. Um, oh well. I'm, I like, I couldn't stop clicking on this dog sound. This is probably the coolest dynamic in the game. Um, but yes, we're kind of running out of time. I think we're just gonna straight up go to the oil refinery right now. Um, and that's where it is. So, um, aside from the fucked up robot guys right here, the thing that I want to point out are these two. I guess it's an egret. So it's either an egret or some kind of heron, and it like I think an egret is a type of heron, but they're really common water birds that you'll see around here. I think they're actually one of my favorites. Egrets themselves are these skinny, kind of like long-limbed, got a long neck, and narrow beak, all white. You'll always see them around in just like ditches and walking around the swamps and stuff. They're one of my favorites to see. But there are also a lot of herons that you'll see around. They're a little bit more like colored. I think my girlfriend knows a lot more about birds than I do, but I just really like this subtle art of a of excuse me, my cat just walked in, of an egret. Um, and I think we're just gonna go beat the shit out of these robots. So let's do it. We'll send no drones around. Once we clear these two, we're in. Ready? So let's do it. And Lucky nods. So Lucky is kind of overpowered, and we're gonna use him to blow up the shield guard. Okay. So K. Okay. So yeah, the thing that I thought was pretty interesting with this is that each of the characters has their own distinct. This is not any kind of like regional take or anything. Minigame type of thing for dealing damage. K and Lucky use kind of the same thing, um, excuse me, Million and Lucky use kind of the same thing. K has her own way of dealing with glyphs, and I think that's just like a cool, like distinct combat system. Not that I play a ton of video games, but yeah, wasting time. Sorry. Okay. All right. Well, these robots are shooting us up, and they're gone. So nothing much to it. When them sentinels not around, they let you more or less walk into the place. And we would take a look at that big fella, the freight mover. Hell of a machine. Could really put on a show with one of them. Lucky just thinking out loud. Let's get to it, eh? Refinery's ours. And so with this, I think we're going to end the stream. We're going to get kind of like a preview of the next thing. So click here, and we're back to Catherine. And I love this creep. So, Catherine, you made it to this warehouse with Big Bird. I sure did. We have a job for you. It will pay. It will solve some problems before you die. Dallas. So, no stranger to the network. You will assist Catherine. Yes. Catherine, in the lake. You saw the stone. We saw you saw the stone. We want the stone, but it has evaded us. All right. SuperDuck is what else? A network, a system of signals, wireless communication of locusts and frogs, cypress roots, disease vectors, internet of flesh, biomimicry, internet of internet, radio towers, distributed AI, distributed birds in flight. SuperDuck saw you see the stone because SuperDuck was an eagle in the sky. The stone is a sky thing that many want, but it reveals itself to no one. No one except for you, Catherine. It follows you through the lake. It loves you. It seeks you. It will submit to you. But we must act fast. Shield wants the stone. Claire Bionics wants the stone. SuperDuck wants the stone. And John has the stone. John. Everyone hates John. Everyone follows John. Influencer, dopamine fiend, convinced himself he has faith in God. Convinced others even. Some young and idealistic, some old and bitter. These are the garrets of John. You will find them gathered in the bowels of the Promenade Mall in Kenner. John has hidden the stone in this forgotten place. He will use the stone in an attempt to fulfill his prophecies, but his are the prophecies of a fool. Got it? Go get me my shiny stone. Hurry, before you die. I want to eat it. Have a good evening, you two. Only thing to say with that, there is a mall in Kenner. Kenner is the place that you fly into when you fly into New Orleans. The Louis Armstrong Airport is located in Kenner. And as I may have said in the past stream, the Esplanade Mall in Kenner is the closest one to where I grew up and presumably where we grew up. So there was another mall called the Belle Promenade Mall located in Marrero, which is on the west bank of Louisiana, or the west bank of New Orleans. Again, we had kind of like established in a previous stream that technically it's to the east of New Orleans where the Belle Promenade Mall is. I love, for whatever reason, I guess because of a deeply ingrained concept of consumerism that has been put into my brain from generation to generation, kind of like obsessed with defunct malls or dead malls. But yeah, take a look at what's going on at Esplanade Mall. It's pretty baller in there. We're going to talk to Super Duck one more time. Go on, get me my shiny stone. What are you waiting for? Yeah, we're going to, I guess, end it right here. because this is a pretty good stopping point. It's right at 9 o'clock. Uh, so yeah, thank you guys so much again for tuning into this stream. I'm Lee. You can find me online at Roaring Blood on just different websites. If you have any kind of questions about this, let me know. I'll probably be back next week. Um, I am gonna finish this beer that I spilled on my keyboard and go say hello to my girlfriend. And yeah, thanks again. If you like this game, go check it out. I'm doing a really quick run through and skipping over a lot of stuff that really enriches the game, but I love it and I love you all. So have a great night and take care.